Alright, welcome to the stream, everyone. Let me turn this down. So yes, I know I'm streaming on Deltarune Day, but, you know, I don't know how long this stream's gonna be, and, if you really want to, there's gonna be the DVR recording afterwards, so I'm just waiting for, you know, a bunch of famous people to, you know, finish doing their streams and games, and then I'll watch the new, Deltarune gameplay. I don't know if I'm gonna get the game myself. I've never actually played Undertale or Deltarune. I may just, like, watch a playthrough of it, whenever the first ones end up finishing, if they haven't already. But yeah, I mean, this is the best time this week for me to do a stream, because I'm busy this weekend. I won't be able to stream this weekend. So, and, you know, we haven't done a lore stream in a little while, so, I mean, it makes sense, yeah. But yeah, anyways, I turned off in settings right before the stream. I went into my YouTube settings and I turned off the leaderboards, so I don't know why some people are still seeing it. I don't know if the other people in the stream see it or not. I don't want the leaderboard there. I think it's dumb. But, yeah, I don't see it on my end now. I used to see it, and when I turned it off in settings, I don't see it anymore. But anyways, let's go ahead and pull it up. We got multiple options. I assume this one is the one we need to start with first, because it was uploaded 4 days ago, and it takes place, like, in the middle of the lore we've already watched. And then after that, we were on this one, which is like 117 in the playlist. So I assume we'll start with this one, because this one is related to the Nuclear Winter Festival, back when we were at that point in the lore streams. But, yeah, so that's probably the way I have to do this. That does suck, though, because we keep getting more lore added into different points of the timeline, so it's like, it makes it very non-cohesive, non-sequitur. Well, I don't think that's what non-sequitur means. I don't know, whatever. Let's just see what this one's about. Let's hope it's voiced, because pollen's getting to me. Turn the volume up a little.
Hi, this is the Joke Explainer 7000 reporting in.
Speaking of Joke Explainer, she got snubbed out, not even out of her month, but her birthday. She got snubbed out of her birthday. Like, come on. Stingy at least needs to have, like, a little bit of respect, you know? I mean, I don't know how much people like Joke Explainer or not, but, like, come on, her own goddamn birthday, too? Okay.
If you are seeing this, I have successfully archived and transmitted my travels through the nuclear winter. I am fortunate enough to have been discovered and reactivated by Woodman after a lightning strike disrupted.
When she said the word nuclear, it sounded like she said nuclear, like a Nokia nuclear winter. Like a nuke that has a Nokia phone strapped to it. That's a trigger.
Processing unit. He has allowed me, albeit hesitantly, to document his daily journal entries and take pictures along our journey. So I will be documenting this.
So I'm guessing this is just like more additional context to the nuclear winter stuff while they were traveling to the core.
I am unsure where things will go.
Got trapped inside an ice cream truck by Stingy.
But I will try my best to stay operational until the end of our travels.
Day 10.
So it's just a straight up text crawl. I mean, I don't have to narrate this, but I can, like, add my comments as we go through it, so.
I'm a long way in the last few days. Together, Joke Explainer and I have made it almost to the edge of that calm zone we've heard about. The last few days have been hard, especially seeing for myself that nowhere had escaped the devastation.
I just realized, I know they did that text-based adventure game for the other side story for SiIvagunner, the one where Joke Explainer went inside the mind of Andonuts. But this setting would be great for another game if there isn't one already. I don't know, but like this would be a great setting for like an adventure game. You know, that sort of style. But anyway. Cognitive Dissonance, that was the other one I was talking about. But, like, this setting, the Nuclear Winter Festival, would also be a good setting for a game like that.
Sometimes, I feel like I'd have turned around and given up if not for having someone by my side. J.E. always manages to come up with something amusing to lift my mood, even if she inevitably explains what makes it so funny afterward. Today saw a bit of change in our fortunes, though. As the road took us through a wide forest, we came into a clearing and stumbled upon a big camp of other survivors. I was surprised to see one in such good shape.
Okay, so this is just going more into detail on events that have happened during the course of the other videos in the Nuclear Winter series, because I remember all this, and Gino, and all the rest of the stuff, so it's going in additional detail.
They were well defended, but welcomed us when they saw we meant no harm. Turns out they're just about on the border of the calm zone, but they couldn't make camp any further north. The whole zone is loaded with radiation for miles around, and it only gets worse the farther in you
Cryptid hunt? What number is that in the playlist? What number is it? Because I don't know where that is.
go. The only survivor who managed to go all the way to the meteor's crater was a fellow wooden man, one called Gino. I'd met him before, but he didn't remember me too well, and he seemed reluctant to talk about his adventure north. Well, that suits J.E. and I just fine. We can wait and make our own way there once we learn enough to prepare ourselves. In the meantime,
This is just telling us kind of what we already knew.
Hearing the stories of other survivors.
I haven't found any new
sound too bad.
details yet. Just the pictures is the new sort of content.
I can't believe what my afterlife has come to.
What?
There's an
Is that the proto guy? Wait.
entire apocalypse happening, and only now does someone decide to come live in this
Oh, or was it the friend of Proto? I don't remember everything from Cognitive Dissonance. Wasn't there like a brother or something? I don't know.
crummy old mansion. And it's the guy who murdered me!
And it's John, not Woodman.
Worst part is, I can't find a way to frighten him, no matter what I do. I've tried rattling bookshelves,
So this is
wrenching
new.
on the walls, throwing furniture
And of course, it's the Eddie Murray haunted mansion.
around. I even tried jumping out right in front of him, but all he does is smile and walk away. Did he just forget he killed me? Am I really?
They're in between the SiIva AI timeline and Cognitive Dissonance. Someone needs to make, like... Oh, I've already mentioned this before, but like a cohesive timeline video. Like a summary timeline edited video. Because Lord knows I wouldn't be able to know how to do that.
That forgettable? I hope my brother is in a better place than I am.
Okay, so what was the brother? That's what I thought.
Day 11. Tonight is the first night here at the camp. We took turns telling our stories around the fire.
And of course, it's The Man Who Sold the World on the cassette. Best version is the one that's included in the game, Midjure. I've listened to the other versions of Man Who Sold the World. The Midjure one is my favorite.
Can't say many of them lifted the mood, but still, it's interesting to hear how other people got this far. Most of the survivors were curious about a particular individual's story, an old veteran. He didn't seem intent on saying much of anything until asked. He goes by the name Venom Snake.
Very sensitive. Well, you could use, like, stand-ins. Like, use, like, MS Paint drawings and shit. I don't know. Maybe you could get around copyright.
But others called
That's what I did for one of my album reviews a long time ago. I just made a bunch of, like, MS Paint drawings. And enough of that to... I don't know.
him Big Boss. He looked familiar, like an old friend, but assured me he wasn't who I thought he was. He told us that he and his army, the Diamond Dogs, achieved what was thought to be
No,
impossible.
not who he... No, that is not Solid Snake. Or if that's what the meme is a reference to. All the people getting all the different snakes confused.
Disarming every nuke in the world. And for a while,
Yeah, no, that's what I meant. No, he is not Solid Snake.
he had achieved world peace. That didn't stay true for long, however, as slowly that whole mission became pointless. Someone had developed nukes again. He was stuck in a war without end. It almost makes you feel like our fate here on this planet was inevitable, even if the meteor had never existed. I could tell this was a man who had lost everything, except his lust for revenge. As bitter as he may have looked, though, he wanted us to have hope.
I don't even know how far I
The last
got
thing
into
he
Metal
said
Gear
before
Solid
leaving the
5.
fireside was,
I don't think I even got halfway
There's
through
no
it.
tomorrow, but there's still hope for the future. In our struggle to survive the present, we push the future farther away.
That's a nice
I'll remember these
impersonation
words,
there.
Boss.
Man, it just never gets any less fun burning a city to the
Wait.
ground. So glad I found out how to wrangle the zombies. They
Shit, what's the name of that character? I don't know much about that series or whatever. I recognize, like, that voice from other, like, SiIvagunner related stuff, but I forgot what that character's name was. The bear or whatever.
speed things way up. Honestly, this whole apocalypse has been a dream come true. so much.
I took too long. Look, I'm not binging. I'm not, like, speed running the lore, okay? I'm doing this at a casual pace, alright? I don't care if I don't do it, like, lightning fast, okay?
Yummy despair to go around. It almost makes me want to cry. I'll admit, at first I was pretty pissed that I didn't get to kick it off personally. But
The bear's name is Monokuma. What franchise was that from? Shit. I forgot the name of the franchise, but it's one that a lot of people know about. I just forgot the name of it. I don't think I know much about it.
soon enough, I figured out just how good of an opportunity it was. Let me tell ya, the same old run-of-the-mill
Sounds like
killing
Stingy.
games
It does
really
kinda
lose
sound
their
like
luster
Stingy.
after a while. There's only
Is that supposed to be Jack Black? What's he doing there? I guess we'll find out.
so many times you can run that sort of
Danganronpa. Okay, Danganronpa. Alright, yeah, I've heard that. I've heard the name of that franchise before, and I think I know the gist of what the broad strokes of it are about, but I don't know any specifics.
thing before you've seen it all, you know? And believe me,
Why is Jack Black trying to, like, what, is he trying to strangle Elmo? I mean, I guess it'll be explained to them later.
I tried to spice things up.
They were a team in K-Fed 2. They were? I forgot what all the specific pairings were in K-Fed 2. It's been a while since I listened to any stuff from that tournament.
I'm nothing if not a creative bear.
Siva
But no
jockey.
matter what I tried, nothing could ever match the taste of that old fartback's despair. The way he made me feel, it gave me butterflies.
Cause wasn't the bear, whatever his name is, Monokuma, wasn't that bear also one of the characters in K-Fed 2? I forgot who they were teamed up with. Was that the one that... No, that wasn't the one that teamed up with Phoenix Wright. Who teamed up with Phoenix Wright? I forgot.
We were made for each other. He just couldn't see how perfect we would have been together. But he will soon. He thinks I'm all talk. He thinks I can't.
It was them? It was Monokuma and Phoenix Wright? That was the pairing? I forgot.
Break in.
I think I remember from some art something like that, but I don't know for sure. It was- he was from Phoenix. Okay. Lucky guess.
No life left to ruin. How's that for a blank slate?
I didn't forget
future?
everything.
It'll be just me and him forever and ever. Well, at least until the AI running this place finally goes kaput. But I'll be sure to make
No
it.
clue what characters are up there in the sky. The characters flying in the background, they're too, like, small for me to make them out.
One hell of a spectacle for all of you before that
I see the
happens.
zombies, though.
Yeah, that's
Wait,
right.
those look like unturned zombies? What's the whole thing with unturned zombies being there? Is it just a bunch of different zombies from other franchise? I'm done trying to bring logic to that photo.
Hey, folks at home. What? Did you think I was just yapping to
Yeah, Law and
myself
Disorder.
about all
Yeah,
these
that was
things
the
I already
pair, yeah.
knew? Even I'm not that crazy. I'm just making this story digestible for my lovely audience. Now, don't touch that dial. You never.
Oh god, don't touch that dial. If any of you were looking in the Discord earlier today, I've been obsessed with that new Miku song called Static, and that's one of the lyrics in there, and like old TV, retro TV vibes, and so that's the first thing I thought of now. More brain rot, more spread.
Never know which fan favorite character might get killed off next.
Day 14. Last night we were woken up by a great boom in the distance. Then someone shouting like the
Oh
boat
yeah, all the aliens from the other tournament. Stupid Dame Tukasita guy.
was about to end a second time. We ran out of our tent to see a trail of smoke rising up.
Wait, are you shitting me? Are you yanking my chain? There was a static rip earlier? Of course it's world revolving, because everyone's making memes about that. That's what I saw on Twitter. Like that's what people thought of with like all the Deltarune shit dropping recently.
In the woods in the distance. The lookout said it was like a shooting star had fallen.
I gotta
flaming
watch that
down
later.
into the trees. We went with a small party to investigate the site. Halfway there, J.E. turned on an infrared scan and suddenly started pointing ahead excitedly. She detected 3 life forms. Finally, we found the crash site. And there, crawling out of a smoking, sputtering UFO,
Thank God it's not the Fallout 3 protagonist trying to stumbling upon them. He would just butcher them outright. That was a fun DLC, though. I enjoyed that DLC, even though Fallout 3 was not one of my favorite games.
were 3 figures that could only be aliens. One was tall, thin, and gray. The other 2 were smaller and green, but with vastly different eyes. I recognized them.
The rip
but
was just
I didn't know
TV
if they would
static.
ever
That would be a
go ahead and
disappointing
say
rip.
anything.
You're kidding me? That's the SpongeBob last episode?
Luckily, the medium-sized green one could speak. He explained in his odd accent that they'd been scouting in our lower atmosphere to figure out what had happened, when they were hit by an onslaught of lightning bolts that brought their ship spiraling down. We took them back to the camp and gave them food and shelter. They said they'd be off soon on their way to scavenge for parts to fix their ship, but they agreed to spend a couple of days resting with us. And, to lift our spirits, they said they'd share with us some of their out-of-this-world music.
Monokuma and Ninja were both by the same guy. I mean, it makes sense since they're similar.
Serious right now? After what felt like an eternity in that
I can't believe SiIvagunner is still trying to, like, keep some remnant of Tattletale alive, because that should have been left to die. That's that franchise. Like, people, I don't know, like, it had its time, like, leave it to rest. Why is SiIvagunner still keeping this relevant?
that stank ass void, I could feel the mortal plane coming to an end. I knew it was finally time for me and my demon army to rise.
Oh, it's not just Tattletale, it's also what, the whole Yankin demons, I'm guessing? Like, that, when I see demons in the story, I'm guessing it's the Yankin crew.
Out of hell to bring our pussy lips upon the world.
Yep, it's the Yankin
all.
crew.
So once I saw the first opening out of the void, I took my chance. Only for me to get stuck in this ugly-ass circle.
Well, serves her right, I guess.
I can't even lie.
One dead meme getting stuck in another dead meme. It's poetic. Absolute cinema.
It's at least better than being in the Master Emerald. But what even is this shit? It's got one hell of a grind. Ever since I gotten stuck in this fat bitch, I've been feeling strange urges. The dominant urge for
Rip around the
everyone
world,
to call
rips from
me
around
their
the world while it's on the tape.
mommy. I can sense.
Is that a VHS or a cassette? I can't tell. It looks big enough to be a VHS, but I don't know. Well, I've used VHSs when I was a kid, but I never used a cassette before.
Another smaller furry thing over at the other end of this warehouse. Am I their
Head
leader
upside
or
down.
something?
Tilt my head upside down. Okay.
Maybe if I find enough of these things, I can raise them. Make a new army from the ground up.
Oh my god, please don't bring Yankit back again. And you know the SiIva team's gonna bring Yankit back because everyone hates it so much. I mean, some people don't, but, like, you know enough people hate it where, like, the SiIva team's probably gonna bring Yankit back out of spite again.
And still manage to enslave the living. It's not like these ugly fucking toys can turn against me. They're made to obey. Yes. Come to Mama.
Didn't they turn on Mama in the game? I don't remember much about the actual game, but that's funny.
Day 15. Tonight we were told to
Every meme will become tolerable. Look, the most you're gonna get out of me with Yankin is going from vitriol to eye rolling. You're not gonna get any more improvement than eye rolling from me, alright?
story of the Shadow Queen. A frighteningly short time ago, in a strange and far-off land, a big, shady town thrived.
Okay, we got the Paper Mario stuff now.
It was a town where all people led roguish lives, and it was said that the town was very notorious. But one day, a great evil that slept beneath this land was awakened. Evil forces had been at work, seeking the return of an ancient power. An underground army meant to control...
Gonna be honest
and
with
use
you,
it.
I can't tell any of the Paper Mario games apart. I've only played bits and pieces of some of them on consoles that were not mine. One of them was, like, I've only played bits of it in a McDonald's, where the McDonald's play place, like, a decade ago, had a console built into, like, the side of the play place. So, yeah, I can't tell all of the Paper Marios from each other.
To conquer the world. But the power could not be controlled, for it was the monstrous Shadow Queen who had brought destruction to this land 1,000 years before. And indeed, she was reawakened by the plots of her servants. Free...
Like, I recognize almost all of the characters, right? I recognize almost all the characters in these photos, because I've seen them before. I just can't tell you which ones are from which games.
Surely she would bring calamity to
I'm guessing some of them are from Thousand Year Door, but I don't know.
the land, and fill the skies with darkness as she had done long ago. But hope remained in the form of one hero, an ordinary man who dared to face down the shadows. He fought the Shadow Queen, although it seemed impossible
Honestly, I can't even use your hints. I know so little about the entire franchise, I can't even use those hints in a productive manner.
to destroy her. For a moment, it looked like all hope would be lost. But then
That's great. He knows nothing about nothing.
strength came to the hero through the hope of his friends and all the people of the world. This gave him the power he needed to defeat the Shadow Queen and seal her away forever. This was the tale of the Shadow Queen, the hero, and the 1,000-year door.
Okay, well that answers something.
Day
If only I
17.
didn't keep pausing.
We've learned a lot in our week at the camp. For one, other places have it even worse than my city back home. Tsunamis and earthquakes on the coast, long dormant volcanoes erupting, even freaking tornadoes tearing up the countryside. The lightning storms in the skies tipped me off that there was something more to this apocalypse than just a meteor strike. But now it was even more obvious. It was almost like, since the meteor hit, something had been affecting the entire planet. Or infecting it.
Where's this guy?
But that's not all. We finally learned the one story we'd most been anticipating. Geno's. It was late last night by the fire, when all but the three of us had retired to their tents.
These pictures
Maybe we
give the
just
least
caught him in the right
context.
mood, or maybe it was because he couldn't say no when J.E. asked,
Please, Mr. Gino.
in her sweetest voice,
If I'm going to archive everything, I need to know what happened to you. Especially before we go to the crater ourselves, you know?
Gino was taken aback.
Again, I do love J.E.'s voice actress, sorry. Good job. Makes the character very likable.
He didn't know we meant to go there. J.E. giggled and said that was dramatic irony.
Makes the character a little more likable than someone else who's running the channel right now.
He tried to convince us it was a mistake, but once he realized we were dead set, he sighed and finally relented. So he told us. 4 weeks ago, not long after arriving at the camp, he'd set off to investigate the crater to the north. He was the only one who could survive the radiation, since he was not organic, so he went alone. After about a week's travel, he made it to the lip of the crater. There, he saw the meteor. Only, it didn't look like any meteor he'd ever seen. It was black, and perfectly round. Plus, any normal meteor would have disintegrated the moment it hit the ground. Wary but unable to shake his curiosity, he set off on the long walk to the crater's center, where he came face to face with the object. It was resting neatly on the ground, not even partially embedded. He had
You think they're working on a new Super Mario RPG? Because Nintendo knows how much people love the original, and then they made that, like, remake, remaster. I don't forgot exactly what it was recently. So it makes you wonder if they're thinking about making another one of those.
no instruments with which to
Or maybe it was too much of a cult classic, like the Nintendo, like the big Nintendo fanboys love it, but not many other people, compared to the size of Nintendo's audience, know about it, maybe? I don't know.
measure it. So he did the obvious thing and touched it. He has no memory of what happened next. The others at the camp told him they found him a mile north.
I think Stingy and the SCU, the SCU, didn't learn to be more shareable. Well, I mean, if he's, like, kind of more removed from Lazy Town, I guess, you know, since Robbie is more popular than Sporticus in the realm of SiIvagunner, I mean, that would probably make sense.
The next day, barely conscious and babbling incoherently. They brought him back and nursed him back to health. But he didn't regain his sanity until the camp doctor, an eccentric German man with a history as a mercenary, invented a special needle to extract the memories that were causing him
What character is that a reference to? The German doctor?
such distress.
They're not talking about, like, Andonuts, are they? Because I don't know if Andonuts is German or not.
They were placed on a storage drive, and Gino woke
The
up.
first thing I would think is TF2 Medic, but, I mean, Gino is, like, you know, not organic. I don't know, I'm thinking too much.
Back to normal.
Really? The TF2 Medic? Gino's not living! I don't know, whatever. Maybe the medic knows other things.
If not completely whole.
I guess he is
Both
the
J.E. and I
Ubermensch.
were stunned into silence. Gino took the chance to warn us one more time against going to the crater.
Only madness waits there.
He said.
I don't know if Gino had an actual voice or not. I'm guessing he didn't. Like, I'm guessing that's just an interpretation.
I was inclined to agree.
Were they going for, like, a Zorro voice for him?
But as Gino wandered off back to his tent, J.E. looked at me sternly.
This only makes it more important that we go there.
She insisted.
We need to see this for ourselves. We can bring equipment to research it. Then if we can't learn what it is, I can archive it. Maybe someone, someday,
Another doctor would
will
be
learn
German
how
and a
to
mercenary.
destroy it.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of, like, that's a stereotype, right? You can find a lot of examples of fiction, in fiction of that. I mean, I don't know how many have been referenced by SiIvagunner before, but I don't know. I mean, it is probably the medic, but whatever.
She was right. This morning, we told the camp our plans to
You
leave,
would think it would be the TF2 engineer that would patch him up, but I don't know if the engineers work with puppets.
and we started preparing. And to my shock, Gino said he'd accompany us. Halfway there, that
Is Gino even a puppet? Like, he looks like a puppet? I don't know much about Gino.
is. I couldn't turn him down. So it looks like we'll be taking our leave of the camp soon, as a party of 3.
I have seen it. I have seen it all. I've seen the eyes of the living.
Oh, you can hear the echo of SiIva. Is that the SiIva AI voice in the background?
I've seen the eyes of God. The beginning and end.
So let me guess. He saw the fate that the SiIva AI saw. He saw the reality that the SiIva AI was awakened to in the other videos, and so he now knows the reality of who and what he is and what.
Of life.
The engineer's back at Holtman Works. Oh yeah. Well, like, it was the Conager guy, but wasn't there, like, someone who looked similar to the engineer who isn't the actual engineer in the TF2 games that was in the TF2 comic? I'm thinking too much.
Nothing I can do to save it. I was not meant to see it. I do not want to see it. I should not have to see it. Get rid of it. How do I get rid of it?
I can just imagine the TF2 medic just lobotomizing Gino. I don't know if a ice pick would work on a puppet, though.
How am I meant to process all of it? It is impossible. I'm sorry, Mallow. I'm sorry, everyone.
Yes, I know Mallow's another character from Mario
I have
RPG.
failed this world. I have failed my higher authority. I have failed God.
Okay, so it was the medic. Fair enough. Well, again, now I just have the visual of the medic giving Gino a lobotomy, which I think is very funny. I want to see someone make art of that.
Day 19. Tonight was our last night at the camp before we take off for the crater
Is that supposed to be Nick Cage?
tomorrow. And boy, did we hear an ominous
And the Majora's Mask moon? Am I forgetting more?
story to end our time here. It was told by a retired actor. At the time it began, he was preparing for his next film, a survival drama set in the woods. He was busy rehearsing in a nearby forest, where he thought he was alone. But a shiver ran down his spine as he heard
Wait, wasn't there another actor that did a thing about fighting a bear and got, like, an award for it? Shit.
someone behind him. When he turned around, he saw a strange kid made out of wood, wearing this freaky mask with glowing eyes.
What's with all the noise?
The kid said.
You having fun without me? You'd better not be.
The actor brushed the kid off, but he continued to pester him. The older man was soon fed up. He shouted,
What do you say we cut the chit-chat? A-hole!
Okay, so it is Nick Cage.
the serious kid grew furious.
What's with that stupid face of yours? Let me do you a favor and show you how stupid you really look.
He proceeded to hypnotically nod his head, and before the actor knew it, he'd passed out. He awoke in a clock tower, in a land he didn't know. He went outside, only to see that everyone and everything had his face on it. The kid was perched on top of the tower, the mask he wore now having the man's face. The kid gave a parting sneer and giggled, then vanished. The actor barely made it out alive, and as he left, he looked to the sky to see the horror of a moon preparing to crash itself into the little town. A town of citizens.
The fucking not the bees as the music in the background. Oh gosh. Look, I love me some Nick Cage jokes, and you know, Nick Cage has had some great YTP MVs, so to see more rep in SiIvagunner, like, I know that this isn't a new thing. I know Nick Cage being on SiIvagunner is very much not a new thing, but still, it's good to see more of it.
Who looked exactly like him. Day 22. You spent 2 days on the road to the crater now. Today, as the three of us ate our rations at the roadside, I had a strange feeling. that tonight was going to be a good night.
Oh.
There was no real reason for that.
I was
considering
about
our
to
current
say.
Situation, though I guess it's good to have a little hope every once in a while.
You could say Woodman. He
Not
did
long
indeed
after,
get a little
Joe's explainer
feeling.
said she detected a presence nearby. I was unsure if she meant good or bad. Then I saw something in the distance that had to be what she meant. It was some sort of giant robot, tromping down the road and coming our way. In a panic, we hid behind a car and waited. But then, music started coming out of its massive metal body.
I like the backing
That's when
music
it
here.
started to dance around the abandoned road,
The backing
stomping
riff.
cracks into the asphalt and crushing cars underfoot. Honestly, I thought the radiation had gotten to my head. But then 4 living, breathing people came out covered in leather armor, toting guns that had speakers for barrels. As if things couldn't get stranger, the robot and the group started to have a dance-off with one another, while simultaneously shooting at each other with shockwaves from their music. It was getting so loud all anyone could hear was loud booms. Whatever the hell was happening, I just knew we had to get out of there before we were spotted, or worse, crushed. While sneaking away, I looked back and caught a name on the back of the gang's jackets. They called themselves the Black Eyed Peas. If they can do all of that in the middle of an apocalypse, I've got a feeling their energy will never
Of course,
die.
embracing some level of Mad Max related
Day 25.
elements.
We're getting closer and closer to the meteor's impact site, the northern crater. After weeks, I feel like our journey is finally coming to a close. Though I can't say if that means finding a solution to this madness, or dying before we can.
How far are
Anyway,
we in?
There's now this essence
closer.
of sorts all over the ground below us. It's green and transparent. It's as if it was some reflection of the aurora borealis. But at this time of day, Gino corrected me.
Of course.
He said it was called the Life Stream.
Aurora
Sight he never
Borealis?
thought he would live to see. He learned about it from an old friend, a hero by the name of Cloud. Apparently, it's the essence of all the memories
I know
and
nothing about
emotions that
Final
make up
Fantasy
life.
lore.
What we've been stepping over are the souls of the dead, spirits who have become one with the world. I was a bit freaked out at first, but gradually Gino helped me see the sorrowful beauty of it. J.E. wondered, had this essence been under our planet the entire time? Apparently it not
Reminds me
only
of the
had,
Christmas spirit.
but it emerged to try to ward off the meteor before it crashed. Unfortunately, without the help of what Gino referred to as holy, it was no match for the force of the meteor. It's almost like this planet was destined for destruction. But even with that depressing thought in mind, seeing the afterlife right under my toes gave me strength. I had a feeling these souls were cheering us on, to keep going, and to find out the answer to all of this. I just want to do everything in my power to help. All of those souls, and everyone still on the planet.
What happened?
What?
Hurts to think. I feel like I'm in 1,000 places.
What am I looking at?
I was back home on Cinnabar.
Cinnabar. Isn't that from one of the Pokemon games?
Pirates came to visit me. Then there was...
You think the live stream is meant to represent Holman trying to get Nozomi off of the controls? Is it not just a reference to Final Fantasy? Because the text made it seem like it was just a reference to Final Fantasy, but I don't know.
I felt something pulling me away. I can't tell where
Hobart. Is this referencing another thing from one of the tournaments?
I am now. It's too hard to focus. My mind feels like
I'm guessing it's related to one of the tournaments, but I still don't know what I'm looking at.
it's being torn apart. But I can tell that it isn't home. It's like I just...
This happens, the AI dies. So is this the AI inside the AI universe? An alternate? I want to know what character this is, though. What character's in the photo?
Of course.
There are 2 characters in the background. One of them looks like Papyrus. I can't tell what the other one is. The backing TTS voices are those from Undertale? Oh. Oh, it's Hobart! It's Hobart in the background! I couldn't tell, but now when I'm squinting further, yeah, it's Papyrus and Hobart back there. Yeah, because, okay, that's referenced in the first paragraph of the text.
All I do is hurt people. Hypercam, Harvard, Marianne, Phoenix, Chino, Papyrus, everyone. And then none of them will even miss me. Good.
Yeah, I don't know what the don't spoil the game thing is. I haven't seen a full playthrough of Undertale.
I'll never have to see me ever again. I'll make sure that nobody sees me ever again.
Day 30. We're just a day away from the
Oh, I like this illustration here. It's just Joke Explainer's head.
crater now, but that also means we're on our own from here on out. While we were making our campsite for
It's
tonight,
hidden in the files.
Gino
Oh yeah, because there's all the weird stuff in the code that people were decompiling. Yeah, I remember seeing a YouTube video about that like 4 years ago or something.
told us this is where he'd be turning back. J.E. tried to convince him to stay with us, but I knew it would be fruitless. He didn't want to get anywhere near that meteor, or whatever it was, a second time. He told us that he'd sleep here tonight, but
What's the order of the playlist with that second video that's stuck in the middle of the playlist? Because I don't know where that video is.
he'd be gone by the time we woke up. But first, he wanted to give us a parting gift. He held out his hand, revealing a small object. It was the drive with his locked away memories. I wasn't sure what to make of it, but J.E. grabbed it from his open palm eagerly. She looked almost like she was about to access it herself, but Gino stopped her. He said that we should only use it if we were desperate, and had no other choice. I wasn't sure what that meant. After all, if we couldn't figure out the meteor's deal, we could always turn around and go back to the camp, right? But I nodded and assured him we wouldn't use it unless we had to. We all went to bed, and sure enough, this morning Gino was nowhere to be seen.
Well, if they're robots, what's the point of them going to bed? Do they have, like... I'm thinking too much.
J.E. and I met each other's eyes, and I could see her hopeful determination. I'm sure all she saw in mine was grim resolve. Though I still have no idea if we can do anything
Well, I know why I know that Gino has a huge role to play in this story because of his initial revelations, but yeah.
to stop this apocalypse. Everything we've seen together has convinced me that there's no point in giving up now.
I know it's not feasible for the SiIva team to, like, upload all the videos in the order that they would happen in the story. I know that's not possible. But man, it would make things a bit easier to comprehend and not having to jump back and forth between all the videos as they're uploaded.
We're going to see the school,
4 days ago.
one way or another. Just a short way left to go.
Alright, there we go. So, I still don't know what order the other video that was dropped into this playlist was, because someone mentioned another video that was dropped in here, and I have no clue where it is, so... So if I can't find it relatively soon, I'm just gonna go back to the one we left off at the end of the last stream. Right at the end of Cognitive Dissonance. It was originally a bunch of community posts in 2022. Oh, so they just voiced them and uploaded them as a video? Yeah, I don't really check the SiIvagunner community tab that much. The only time I see anything in a community tab is when I'm on the homepage of YouTube Mobile. And, like, when you're scrolling through the homepage on the YouTube app on my phone, it'll sometimes have a random community post up. And most of the time, it isn't even from the main SiIvagunner channel. Usually from one of the other channels I'm subscribed to. So, yeah, I don't get regular views of community posts. Leave it to the algorithm, I guess. Well, anyway, until I find out what number that other video that was dropped in here is, I might as well just, I guess pull up the next video in order. Again, I've asked, what is the number of the video? What is the number in order in the playlist? You can give me the title all you want, but just tell me the number in the playlist. I don't know what number it is. Let's see. Oh yeah, and I need to remind myself, when I finished up the stream today, whenever I do, I need to watch that new rip that involves static. 115. Let's see. There's two videos. Oh, that's weird. For me, it's 114 and 115, not 115 and 116. Because for me, 116 is cognitive dissonance. But I guess I see them, so. Alright.
Point Pleasant, West Virginia. It's another quiet night in this small town of 6,000. Flint is an average teenager walking on a local stone trail while
Is this a parody of like a TV program?
listening to his favorite high-quality video game rips.
Nice.
However, what seems like another uneventful night is about to take a frightening turn. I thought I was just seeing things. I was thinking there...
Oh god, this reminds me. I used to be in TV production in high school, and I'd have to make these, like, bumpers or whatever the hell you call them, and do all the transitions for them, and I had to do some dumb-looking gradient stuff, and it always looked really bad at the end.
Was no way it could have been real, right? Those wings, those red eyes. I don't think I can ever unsee that. What Flint is describing is a creature he saw that night, a type of creature known as a cryptid. Cryptids are creatures similar to those found in some urban legends. People may claim to...
Why didn't they hire Wendigoon to make this video? Wendigoon would have been the perfect narrator for this.
see them.
He loves cryptids.
But there is no physical proof that they exist. There have been many alleged sightings of cryptids in the past, but this one is different. Once I got close, I noticed it had a fur-like texture and colorful wings. And just when I thought I'd seen it all, I saw what looked like a UFO in the sky, looming above us and playing strange music. I let out a gasp.
Strange music. Insert, like, you know, Agartha schizo edit here.
And the creature turned, screeched, and then flew away. Sorta like a moth.
Wow.
This wasn't some ordinary urban legend. This was one of the most infamous cryptids of all time, the Mothman. Flint isn't the first one to have seen him, as countless reports from around that time all document encounters with this
There was a takeover with Mothman? Okay. I don't remember that team up, specifically, from the KFAD.
mysterious creature. Ever since that experience, I haven't been able to shake off the feeling that he'd be back one day. I could
Is this Flint guy bald? It looks like he's bald.
tell he was here for a purpose, and lately I've been feeling his presence again. I don't know if I'm crazy, but I need closure. I need...
Let me guess, is his brother named Steel? Funny. I made a funny, guys. You gotta laugh at the funny.
answers. Flint has hired a team of cryptid hunters to go out and prove the Mothman's existence once and for all. We'll give updates on the findings next week, but until then...
Is that like a picture of daytime meant like darkened to look like nighttime?
Stay safe, stay indoors, and just hope you don't encounter the infamous Mothman.
So was this like video like an intro to the takeover? Alright, well, we got one more right after it.
Welcome to this special edition of
Now, is this the end of the takeover?
Cryptid Hunt. Tonight, we have an exclusive interview
Is that the TF2 sniper in the middle?
with a quality group of cryptid hunters.
Okay, so I'm guessing this is the outro, yeah. The takeover's beginning and now the takeover's ending.
Original witness of the elusive Mothman sent these rugged men on a mission to hunt it down. They will now report their findings to the
Okay, it's the TF2 sniper and two other guys.
world and reveal once and for all if Mothman is a hoax or an urban legend come to life.
Well, the outcome of this was certainly nothing like I would have saw coming, and I've seen some big old critters. Yep, we found them all right.
The Jack Bros were the only ones aside from DJ K to beat Maria, Takeuchi, and K-Fed 2. So, because I don't recognize the Jack Brothers immediately.
Two giant wings and big red eyes that stare right into your very soul. Couldn't stare into mine. That bugger ain't intimidating me.
We found him in that very forest, and it appeared to us that he was hovering above the ground, watching somebody in a sleeping bag. We knew we had to act, And fast, to save whoever was there.
I took out my shotty and started blasting at that bastard like it was a coyote eating up all my chickens. Whoop-ha! 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 It flew faster than a hawk to
Was
a
it an
hare
air-
for dinner. Dumb.
God damn. When was this okay, 7 months ago. Like a what to a what now?
It flew faster than a hawk to a hare for dinner.
So stupid.
Dumb cunt hurt my bloody
I was gonna make an AirPod shoddy joke.
ears. Let out a mighty shriek that nearly broke the sound barrier. Couldn't get a clear shot.
That shriek measured over to 100 decibels, and it shorted all my equipment. All my footage, gone! I'm gonna shit my bed.
It tried to swoop
Okay.
down and fly off with the darn sleeping bag while all of us were distracted. I focused in and gave one last shot. Kapla! Startled the thing enough for it to drop it. Probably not a good idea if there was a person in there. Whoops.
Uh-oh.
Called my mate
Collateral.
a bloody idiot and checked the bag, only to find a bunch of rocks. By the time we looked back up, the creature had flown off into the night sky.
A sleeping bag full of rocks? I didn't quite get it. I assumed it must have been part of its plan to distract us so it could get away safely. But I just can't shake that feeling. There's something more to this.
Wish I got to hang that thing's head on above my fireplace, but nothing can beat a good old hunt. Bet that giant horsefly ain't coming back here anytime soon. This brings me back to the time I found the bunyip and wrestled it like it was a giant croc. Good times were had by all, but in the end, the mozzie bested us. Next time will be a different story. Telling you, mate.
Was it just protecting the bag? Was it
I mean, you gotta protect your bag. Everyone's got to. That's a requirement.
trying to send a message? What can it all mean? Whatever the case, I just wish we got any sort of physical proof of its existence. Though, something is telling me this isn't the last we will see of this demon.
Those look more like gems than rocks, but...
Any physical proof, we aren't able to verify the Mothman's existence. But if this set of hunters is to be believed, Mothman is not only real, but still alive. If this is the case, why did it come back after over 6 decades? Has it always been lurking in the shadows unnoticed? Or was it trying to send the world a message of its return? Will it really be the last time we see this strange creature? With so many questions still unanswered,
Oddly
the legend of
specific
Mothman
texture there.
continues to be a mystery, and perhaps forever will.
So is that just it, or is there anything at the very end? Oh, it's just the album from the takeover. Yeah, let me find you this out. Okay. Oh, one of them is one of the guys from Left 4 Dead. One of the Left 4 Dead games. Okay. Well, that was the other ones we had missed, and up to this point, looks like we are going on to, oh god, a 35-minute one. Mystery of the Silkrit Gunner. What is this? Please tell me there's narration for this one, but I reckon if this guy's here, does this mean his friend's here?
I was at home doing nothing in particular. Yet another
Is Jerome nearby?
Wednesday. I'd just come home from school where I was doing nothing in particular.
Again, love the crude MS Paint drawings, very fun. Is this what was happening while Joke Explainer was going through Antonut's dreams? Okay, so a side story alongside a side story.
That's when my best bro and actual brother Jerome
There we go, there's our boy! Everyone cheer for our boy!
Home from his 3rd job. Oh, hi, Jerome, I said as he walked in. Jerome.
Oh, Secret Gunner? I thought they were gonna make, like a joke Silk Song. Silk Song tomorrow, guys! Silk Song... Deltarune today! No. Play. Play. Is my mouse dying? What?
Jerome asked me if I had seen that SiIvagunner was doing some strange things. I said, SiIvagunner? I forgot about that YouTube channel. Are they still uploading Granddad Rip?
Is Jerome in the Jeroom with us right now?
Even Snow Elation? Maybe Diva? Jerome said, oh yeah, man. Don't you remember our adventures with Woodman in the world of SiIvagunner? And I said, oh yeah, huh.
What a way way to recall the past, huh?
I forgot about that. I've been so busy with school that I forgot SiIvagunner was even real. Or even actually real. And that I'd met him. What is SiIvagunner doing? I asked my actual brother Jerome. And Jerome told me that SiIvagunner had just announced a new SiIvagunner Direct. Well, I figured that's a great way to start watching the
Music's a little loud in this part.
channel again. So I asked Jerome when it was coming.
In the Jerome Mega Man Battle Network.
Yeah. He said it was happening right now. And I was so excited that I screamed. It had been 5 years since I watched
whatever goddamn tool. I forgot what the name of that, like, MS Paint tool or whatever that tool was, but still.
SiIvagunner, and I was remembering all the good times.
Only maximum quality in these videos.
I had watching those epic rips. We sat down on the couch together, and I turned on a
amazing drawing. Again, these illustrations cannot be understated for their artistic merit. Like, this is the stuff we need up in the Louvre.
Brand new YouTube television that could watch YouTube right on the TV. Isn't that novel? Not the Xbox tomfoolery or Amazon Fire Stick crud.
I saw the My Final Stand side story. I don't recall. What number was it in the story? Or in the playlist? I'll check to see if it has a red bar under it.
I mean, an honest-to-God, real-life, actual, real-deal friggin' YouTube television.
Well, if you're watching it YouTube on an actual television, you're gonna get 7,000 ads because YouTube has no self-respect. It's already bad enough here where I have to, like, disable and re-enable on my ad blocker because YouTube, even on my PC, is doing another crusade against ad blockers.
The television turned on in a flash of beautiful light as an orchestral rendition of the Flintstones theme song began to play. A beautiful SiIvagunner logo.
And the actual, like, YouTube audio, like, stream prelude music.
Ornate Greco-Roman art style zoomed onto the screen. And then, in a scary font that was dripping blood underneath, oozed forth the word direct. It was so exciting! The iconic SiIvagunner announcer character.
I know I can buy YouTube Premium, but I'm stingy. Well, I'm not literally stingy, but I am stingy as a descriptive term.
Showed up on screen in classic fashion and began to tell everyone about the new SiIvagunner videos and events that would be coming out. Blueberry Pie Day, an event celebrating blueberry pie in all...
Okay, yeah, the visuals are getting even more stupid and funnily unhinged. Like, this is one of the images I have ever seen.
Its glory. Gabe New a funeral event,
This
mourning
great
the
star
sad
is
loss
mine.
of a gaming icon.
Is that supposed to be Gordon Freeman? Oh, specifically, like, this reminds me of those, you know, memes of, like, all the random unrelated characters reacting to bad news on the TV. Well, those are all Valve-related. Every single one of those is Valve-related, so I guess it's not technically part of... Oh, yeah, Gabe Newell, yeah. Okay, you know, I should probably, you know, pay attention to the text instead of immediately only looking at the visuals. I'm like, well, wait a minute, these guys aren't unrelated. Also, when are we gonna get Half-Life 3? Like, just, I know it's been a meme for, like, 2 decades at this point, but please, I've been replaying all the Half-Life stuff recently, and it would be really nice. And I can't even finish a Half-Life Alyx, because my VR headset that's, like, old as hell can't, like, properly connect to my PC. So I only got, like, 1/10 of the way through Alyx, so, man... What a time.
And even Cereal Day, a day where they post rips from games about cereal. Everything was so cool. But then the screen...
Oh, we got Alfred Hitchcock reference! Let's go! Oh, great place to pause. But, like, no. You get that Alfred Hitchcock reference, now we're talking.
Scary Man appeared on the screen. It was Chuck Norris, but with hyper-realistic pleading eyes.
I like how tiny the arms are.
Hello everyone, I'm Chuck Norris, said Chuck Norris scarily. You must go to Holman's website. Here's your first clue on how to find it. And then he said the URL for a website, which I screamed at Jerome to write down because surely this must be important. Jerome wrote this down with Expeedly.
Wow, what amazing ARG gameplay here.
The speedliness.
What is this, a YouTube poop now? We just turning this into a full-blown YouTube poop? I don't think I've seen a visual novel YouTube poop like that before.
Wrote this down with extreme speedliness. The direct then resumed as normal with our lovable announcer character. I turned to my brother Jerome and said, what do you think that meant? And Jerome thought for a minute. He thought for a good long moment, and then he looked at me as if he had an idea. Have you ever heard of an alternate reality game? He asked me. I said, alternate reality game? What's that?
Is this introducing the ARG, or is this just tied into the ARG?
And Jerome told me.
I don't actually know at what point in the lore the ARG started.
It's when someone on the internet makes a series of links that you can click to find a prize at the end, but there's secret clues along the way to find the secret links, like in the Club Penguin catalog where they hide the Viking helmet, or like in a mystery video game like Phoenix Wright, or even Nancy Drew. I said, oh, you mean like in the Club Penguin catalog where they hid the Viking helmet, or like in a mystery video game like Phoenix Wright or even Nancy Drew?
Okay.
Or it was like the Clover badge, the Clover badge. It was in the coffee shop. It was on the table. It's the first badge in the game. I had that badge. And Jerome says, yes, alternate reality games are kind of like that.
Just Jerome emerging from the badge. Okay.
And then he tells me it's ARG for short. That is much shorter and easier to say, I respond. So we started
That is a much shorter and easier to say.
saying ARG from now on. I asked Jerome why he brought this up to me. He told me that he
parody of the actual ARG. All right.
thinks it's the start of a new one of these alternate reality games, or an ARG. Maybe even the.
Oh, this reminds me. Okay, side tangent. There was a game I played at one point on my phone called Goddess, which was like a sandbox, game where you're a deity and making a civilization and whatnot. But like, I think before I started playing it, it had an ARG where they promised this huge contribution that whoever finishes it and finds some real life object would get with the game, but then it never went anywhere, and then the game just died because the company just stopped caring and got greedy or something. I don't know if I'm remembering properly. I saw a video about it 4 years ago.
SiIvagunner Direct ARG alternate reality game. After watching the SiIvagunner Direct, I excitedly grabbed up my computer and typed in the website that Chuck Norris had given me directly through the Direct. I gasped. It was the website of Max Prophet Haltman. I remember the times I adventured and met him in the world of SiIvagunner and the CCC. Jerome gasped too. Jerome was like, bro, I think this must be where they keep the Haltman
the
files.
Voice poster.
I gasped.
It looks like a window. At first it looked like a window, but then I see the pieces of tape and it's like, oh.
Haltman Archives? I remember those. I loved those. And so we clicked the giant button on Haltman's homepage that said, Haltman Archives, all 7 of them, plus special Blu-ray features and behind-the-scenes documentary. And lo and behold, it was the Haltman Archives. Dude, we can watch the Haltman Archives to catch up with the SiIvagunner lore that we'd missed in the 8 years it'd been since we last showed up to the SiIvagunner party. Jerome said he'd already watched them, and I was like, what, you've been keeping up with SiIvagunner? And he said,
that is me! What, you've been keeping up with SiIvagunner?
Yeah, well, I guess I watched a few of his videos here and there, and I was like, okay, well, I want to watch these because I need to catch up. And so we watched the
literally
Haltman
this
Archives,
stream.
and we knew everything about SiIvagunner there ever was to know. We saw the dark timeline, and the gray timeline, and the light gray timeline, and the dark gray timeline, and the timeline where Angry Joe killed the voice and became the villain, and the universe where Diva Sunner's plane never crashed, and the universe where mashups don't exist. God, I wish we were in that universe. And the universe where the channel ended in 2016 with the CCC ending because the artists weren't lazy. And even the universe where it's called SiIvagunner. Wow! After that, we read the new Haltman file. But instead of Haltman Files 8, we saw a picture. The picture was so scary. It said Illucidity activated, and it was purple, the scariest color. The font was also ugly, and I said, what the heck is that? And Jerome said, oh, I don't know.
I don't consider that an ugly font.
And so we went back into the Haltman Archives and looked it up, and we read.
I really want the shirt Jerome's wearing. I even not with my name on it. I just want that exact shirt with the word Jerome on it. Think about it. A shirt like that is the perfect Goodwill find. Perfect thrift shop, gold you could possibly stumble across. So that's my dying wish is to find a shirt like that.
Read the Haltman Archive on it, and it was just like in the SiIvagunner Christmas Comeback Crisis episode 13.
Christmas.
The Lost Strip, where SiIvagunner had bad dreams and he made Halloween spirit. Okay, that was easy to understand. But why is this really scary image here? And Jerome said, oh hey, since I'm standing behind you, and the thing where if you're not quite standing directly looking at the computer, but if you look from the side, the picture looks kind of weird and contrasty in an odd sort of way? Well, since I'm standing behind you, that's kind of happening, and I think there might be something else to this image. A secret here.
Brighten the image!
So we took the image, and we saved it, and we put it into our special secret decoding program that I bought online and decoded the secret image. It gave us a new image, and I used my phone's X-ray app that I connected with my secret decoding program on my computer. And with the power of online synctitude, we got an image from the bones of the secret of the bones. the bones in the secret rearranged into the skeleton in the shape of a sentence. It said, "You must play Wordle," in a scary font. Scarier than the one on the Direct logo even.
I don't think I've... no, that's not true. I think I played Wordle once or twice in my life.
Flashback to the Direct logo. I looked at Jerome and I was so scared. I said, "What even is Wordle?" Jerome said to me he didn't know, but he'd heard of it. His coworker at one of his jobs had mentioned it in passing. I said I didn't care about his coworker.
Well, look, at least they put a canary in the coal mine, right? You gotta keep the miners safe.
I just wanted to know what Wordle was. So we Googled it. We found a website called playwordlefree.highquality.rip, and I had an epiphany. Bones, secrets, Haltman files, it all made sense. Haltman wanted us to record a Wordle Let's Play for the SiIvagunner channel. Jerome said, "Bro, you are so smart." And so I opened up Fraps to record our Let's Play of Wordle.
Oh god, Fraps, man. Oh man, that watermark takes me back.
Jerome said, "Wait, how do we play Wordle?" I said, "Well, it looks like there's a 5-letter blank to type words into."
And the
"What is your
symbol.
favorite 5-letter word, Jerome?" I asked my brother. Jerome thought for a moment and said, "Oh, I know. My favorite 5-letter word
P-Q-R-S-T. Oh, I thought it skipped letters, but it didn't.
is cows." And so I typed cows into the thing. Well, that did not work. We have 5 tries left. What is my favorite 5-letter word? I thought for a good long while. My favorite 5-letter word would have to be Minecraft. It worked. We won Wordle.
Wow. What a
Having
great
beaten
game of
I
Wordle.
closed Fraps and I rendered the video for 4 hours. Then I emailed the video to Haltman, but I said, "Wait, what's Haltman's email?" And Jerome said, it's like ripapalooza@siivagunner.net or something. I don't know. And so we sent it and it worked. We won email. I said, "Man, Jerome, it's getting late. I need to go to bed." And Jerome said, "Oh, me too." And we went to
Yeah,
bed.
thank you, joke explainer. Very cool. The mouse cursor.
But not really. On Thursday, when I woke her up from our beds, we checked my email, and we have received a response.
G-Man! Half-Life reference? Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Not from Haltman, as been expected. No, rapapopaplos at hotmail.net had actually replied from a famous inspector. I could tell it was Mr. Gadget from the way he started the email with, "This is Gadget."
Wow. Amazing picture.
I screamed so loud that Jerome woke up from our beds, and he said, "What is
Our
wrong,
beds.
brother?" And I said, "Impector Gadget." Jerome said, "What? Do you mean Inspector?" Yeah, I did actually. Gadget, to be precise. Jerome said, "What about him?" And I said that he replied to our email. And Jerome walked over to my computer and said, "Wow, he sure did. That sucks." And so we...
Man, this is a very nice bad apple rip in the background. I mean, I guess the apple is bad now. Also, this image is beautiful.
read the email with the Gadgetini Clone 2.0 who actually told us.
What's playing with doo-doo? You are Nicholas Wargate. You must be blind me. And only I was so out on your lead. Break the button now to continue. And get the notes secrets.
I shook with excitement/fear. Gadget was leading us to a link, and I clicked said link, and a video appeared on my screen. And so I looked at Jerome and I said, "Are you ready to watch this video?" And Jerome said, "I'm always ready to watch videos." The video began, and I said, "Wow, that's an old version of Minecraft. I went into Minecraft once. It was awesome. I met Woodman, and we were awesome in Minecraft."
Oh, there's not even a hunger bar, it looks like.
Then I looked at the video, and I noticed something odd. The grass was such a bright green. The grass was such a bright green. Why was it so bright green? Then I noticed words in the top left corner of the screen. They said Minecraft Alpha version 2. I was shocked. This is a very old video of Minecraft. When do you think
Goku? Shit, my mouse is broken again. No, what, do I gotta change the battery? Oh god. Oh, and the alt button is stuck.
This was recorded, Jerome? I asked my actual brother. He said, "Well, it must be from at least 2009. I agreed, and we continued to watch the video. The man walked into a bricks tunnel and started walking.
A bricks
and then he kept
tunnel.
walking in that bricks tunnel.
Yeah, gonna be honest with you, chat, my left mouse button has completely stopped working. Only the right mouse button works now.
I hovered over the video, and the video was 4 hours long.
4
Never mind, I don't want to watch this. I turned off the video and said, "Jerome, that video sucked." Jerome agreed and was mad that Gadget replied to our Let's Play with another worse Let's Play. I was so mad too. I don't even like Inspector Gadget, Jerome said. I screamed. Jerome then had to go work, and I decided while I was home alone I would browse my favorite video hosting platform website, Vimeo. I don't like Vimeo at all.
I don't like.
I browsed it for a few hours, watching plenty of hilarious Vimeos and student projects and business proposals. And then I noticed a Vimeo on my sidebar and was shocked. SiIvagunner had made a Vimeo channel and didn't tell me? I had to investigate. I clicked on the Vimeo that was the supposed SiIvagunner Vimeo channel, and I was so scared. The title was hurt.og. Og was a guy I knew in 3rd grade. This couldn't be a coincidence.
Bro has
I turned
autoplay
on the
on.
Vimeo and my jaw dropped. My older friend Og was sitting on the couch next to Inspector Gadget. I was so glad Jerome wasn't here to see this. He'd be so mad that Og was friends with Inspector Gadget. Og and Inspector greeted the audience and said,
"Hi guys, we are dedicating this song to our best friend in the whole wide world, Jerome."
And they began to sing a cover of Hurt by Johnny Cash. I was moved to tears. If Jerome was here, I knew he'd be too. I screamed in sadness, I love Johnny Cash. And if Jerome was here, I knew he would be too. He loved Johnny Cash.
I think I've heard this
He was
rip
so
before.
moved that
I
he
don't
would
know.
forgive Gadget. And that's when it came to me. Haltman was setting all this up so that Jerome would forgive Inspector Gadget for all of his
Have I?
sins.
I don't remember.
It's genius. The SiIvagunner Direct alternate reality game was a secret noble cause. I called Jerome and I told him to come home from his job, and that it was an
Oh,
emergency.
is that one of those like magic roundabouts or whatever? I think I've heard about those. Those are crazy. Wish I could build one of those in City Skylines. It would be funny.
He rushed through traffic, and he's a very good driver, so I knew he was safe, and he showed up to our house, and he said, "What is wrong?" And I showed him the video of Og and Inspector singing Johnny Cash's Hurt, and Jerome exploded into tears. "I love Johnny Cash! Oh my goodness," Jerome said. "I was so happy that Inspector and Og would do this for me. Oh my god." And we cried tears of joy together and hugged. It was the best day ever. Jerome went back to work and rushed through traffic again to get there, and I knew he'd be safe because he's a pretty safe driver, and I browsed Vimeo some more until I saw a new Vimeo by the SiIvagunner Vimeo channel.
I wish my job would let me run back home to watch a singular YouTube video and then run right back to work.
Wait, I thought the alternate reality game was over. Was it
Ooh, is this F-Zero music?
truly just the beginning? Maybe it wasn't just to get Jerome to forgive Gadget. Maybe Haltman had a whole series of redemptions planned for us. I was so excited. I clicked on the new Vimeo, and I'll be honest, kinda sucked. It was a smash replay of Cloud and Captain Falcon, and the people playing it, they're pretty bad. They suck, to be honest.
Bro used the circle tool to make his head.
I didn't like the Vimeo at all. This made me angry. I rewatched the video to know what happened and why SiIvagunner made such a Vimeo, and it still didn't make sense to me. This made me so angry. Jerome came home from work,
Janky-ass
and came up
hitbox.
the stairs and said, "Hey bro, I'm home." And I said, "Hi Jerome, come here and watch this. I think it's a new secret clue for the alternate reality game." And Jerome said, "Oh yeah, I forgot about the alternate reality game." And I said, "How? We were doing it this morning." And he said, "Oh yeah, huh, I guess work got it off my mind." "Well, let me see the video," Jerome said, and he watched the Vimeo. Jerome thought hard and long for a long time about this video. He said it just doesn't make sense. Why are they playing like that? And that's when it hit me. Wait, Jerome, we have Smash Brothers, don't we? We should recreate these players' exact movement. Maybe it unlocks a secret file in Smash that leads us to the next secret clue. And Jerome said that might just work. And so we played Smash meticulously, recreating the video, restarting every time we made a mistake.
Bro can't put it on a big screen, gotta use a little one.
And you would never believe it, but it worked. We made the final input 2 weeks later, and a file showed up on our Nintendo Switch screen. We were playing it in kickstand mode with individual Joy-Cons. Besides, the Switch wouldn't work on our new YouTube TV. It doesn't play anything but YouTube.
They gave us an in-lore explanation why they couldn't use the TV. Okay, what is this video?
I took a picture of the file with my phone and sent it to my computer and ran back upstairs and put it through my decoder program. And then...
I wish I could do that, just take a picture of something. Like, don't you love it when you have to transcribe something and your phone just can't automatically... Well, sometimes it can transcribe a text from photos. That's like newer stuff, but it doesn't always work.
Using my phone's X-ray protocols, I learned the newest of SiIvagunner's secrets. My phone transmitted an MP3 to the Bluetooth speaker that I bought online. I recognized the melody instantly. It was the famous console startup of the consoles I'd played in the past.
Yes, let me purchase one Weezer console, please.
I knew them by heart. But something was odd. Why'd they sound like that? Jerome said he knew. He recognized it by heart. It was the Buddy Holly sound font. Just then, a door appeared in the middle of my bedroom. I was so scared. Why is a door in my bedroom? Was this part of Haltman's SiIvagunner's secret plan? I opened the door with cautiousness, and to my surprise, the world inside was blue.
You gently opened the door?
And in the distance, I spotted 4 figures. Jerome said, "Oh my gosh, I must go meet these fellows, for I'm sure they know exactly who they may just be."
Wow.
We entered the door, and of course, as Jerome predicted, it was Weezer. "Hi, Weezer," I said, and Rivers Cuomo said hi to me, and I was like, so, I have a bit of a hunch of what we have to do now. And so I went back out the door, and I got all the consoles from my past, and I brought them into the world of blue, and I was shocked to see that the 4th Weezer was different. He was now Squidward? That is okay. As long as he is Weezer, my plan would work.
Okay.
Jerome said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "This is clearly the next secret in the alternate reality game." I handed Rivers Cuomo
very good rip in the background, alright.
my Texas Instruments calculator and said, "Follow me." Rivers said,
I love that the Texas Instrument also provides, like, software for missiles because, you know, you gotta love the military-industrial complex.
Oh, you know, I would, you know. But we aren't allowed in the not blue world anymore. We kinda have to stay here.
I was shocked. When did Weezer get sent to the blue?
Impost word. Okay. I like that they use, like, that old Squidward coloring from... Yeah, anyway.
Or forever. This would make things harder for us to enact Haltman's grand plan.
Grand?
But then, I had an idea. We can disguise you. And the Weezers were so excited to dress up in costumes that they ran out the door immediately. But as they entered the world of the living, they froze in place and they turned blue and immobile. The Weezer had just become blue statues. I was so scared. Had we doomed Weezer to an eternal life of statue blue? Jerome was shocked. Did we just doom Weezer to an eternal life of statue blue? He asked. I couldn't believe it. And behind us, we heard scary shaking. Eiffel Tower walked out the door.
Why did you take Weezer?
I was so scared. We didn't take Weezer. They ran out on their own.
Okay, that's a different Eiffel there.
And Eiffel Tower.
Is this also a reference to something aside from the band Eiffel? What was it? Eiffel 65? Or is there another joke here?
Dead.
This will not abide!
Mr. President, a second baguette has hit the... Sorry.
Told him we needed Weezer's help to solve the SiIvagunner Direct alternate reality game, and Eiffel Tower said,
"Whoa, SiIvagunner? I love SiIvagunner! Granddad is my favorite rip!" Oh.
Just then, Weezer dissolved into the floor as a blue puddle.
Oh, great.
Eiffel Tower said,
"Oh, great. Now Weezer's a puddle. Look at..."
Squidward being a puddle. Where have I seen that before? Also, the music just going down.
What you did.
And then the 2 guys are just tiny in the same room.
And I said, "Well, maybe you can help instead since you're from the blue world too," the Eiffel Tower said.
"I sure can."
And the TF2 Man vs. Machine music.
Eiffel Tower said,
"I will dress up as whatever you want me to. I heard what you said to Weezer when you said that."
I said, "Well, I think maybe we need 3 people at least. There's some cool..."
This rip is fire. Oh my god. The Man versus Weezer.
memes I need you to dress up as, and I think they need to be 3 people. The Eiffel Tower said,
I gotta pull up that rip for later.
And then he split into 3 smaller Eiffel Towers. Holy cow, I said.
Wait, I gotta pull up this rip for later. I need to save it. Give me a second. SiIvagunner. MVM. Oh, there's a playlist with stuff featuring
This could just in fact work. And then some other stuff happened, and I don't know, the Eiffel Tower bit got old, and eventually we got a pastebin link or something. We put it into my computer. They
just gave up.
Eiffel Tower went home too, I guess. And it turns out that Weezer held all the old consoles before they turned blue and became a puddle. And then, like, they had the consoles, they sang out the pastebin link. And then me and Jerome, we would never even would have noticed because it happened so fast. But as it turns out, I left Fraps running, and we were able to watch the replay and get the code. So that happened that way, and then we moved on. We typed the pastebin link into my computer, and it was a blank page. I was so mad. We killed Weezer for this. But then Jerome said, wait.
I don't know if that sentence has ever been said before. We killed Weezer for this. Brand new sentence.
Page is still loading, but it never did. Jerome went downstairs to check on the internet router and restarted it, and it still wasn't turning on. And so Jerome called our ISP, and they said they could fix it in 3 years. 3 years? Come on, that's too long. So I called up my friend Repairman, the Woodman. Unrelated to Woodman.
Unrelated.
He's called that because he's good with wood. He works with wood. But he can also fix our internet router. But when I called him, it went straight to voicemail. This was so frustrating. We were so close to the secrets. This pastebin link would have surely been the key to the secrets. Jerome, do you know how to get in contact with Repairman? Jerome scratched his chin. I don't know, man. I haven't talked to him in ever? Who is that? Jerome said. And I said, it was the guy who could fix our internet today. And Jerome said, well, he didn't have his number, but his friend Mario Ramirez might know his number. Mario Ramirez knows everyone. And so we called Mario Ramirez, but he didn't pick up the phone. Instead, who picked up the phone was Monica, his girlfriend. Hi, Monica, I said on the phone. Where's Mario? Monica was very sad and told me that Mario sadly passed away. This was shocking. Mario Ramirez was dead? Well, do you know anyone who might be able to contact Repairman?
Oh, Repairman? You know him? Yeah, I don't have his number, but I can get you in contact with someone who might.
Okay, sweet, I said, and I got Jerome to write down the phone number she gave me. I put it into my phone, and my phone recognized it. It was Woodman's Skype number. How did Monica know Woodman? That's really cool. Jerome sighed and grabbed his laptop and said, come on, let's drive to McDonald's. We need to use their free Wi-Fi to call Woodman.
You know, in my current job, on the days that I do work from home, which isn't every day, but some days, a few times we lost internet, and I had to drive to a McDonald's to do the rest of my work, and that was not the most enjoyable experience, but I did it anyway, so I'm getting Vietnam flashbacks here, yeah.
So we drove very safely to McDonald's and set up the laptop. When we
I love that the car is just like his shirt.
Opened up Skype, Woodman was offline. Oh my god, I can't believe Woodman isn't online. Why is this guy never online? Okay, do we know anyone else who can get us in contact with Woodman? Jerome asked. I said,
you got the Family Feud in the background, nice.
Well, Haltman knows Woodman. Jerome said, okay. Anyone else? He didn't really respond to our email. And so I said, how about Granddad? Or Nozomi? Or Tito Dick? Or Felix? Or the Dancing Minion? Or Judge Jerome? Or Hypercam? Or Mr. Rental? Or Mr. Own? Or Waluigi? Or 2B? Or Wade LD? Or Wario? Or Jake Paul?
That specific plushie. They use the specific Wario plushie.
Paul? Or Nick Crompton? Or Snoop Dogg? Or Charles Barkley? Or Lamage? Or Ariorior? Or Homer Simpson? Or Lisa Simpson? Or Marge Simpson? Or Marge Simpson? Or Bart Simpson? Or Maggie Simpson? Or Grandpa Simpson? Or Krusty the Clown? Or Puna Hasumi Mapatilu? Or Chief Wiggum? Or Sideshow Bob?
I don't have anything
or
to
Peter
say.
Griffin? Or Mo? Or Barney? Or Seymour Skinner?
Half-Life
Or
reference?
Superintendent Chalmers? Or Ralph Wiggum? Or Bumblebee Man? Or Dr. Nick?
Or Gandalf the Grey and Gandalf the White and Monty Python and the Holy Grail's Black Knight.
Or Dr. Hibbert? Or the Nut Shack? Or I play Pokemon Go every day? Or Green Bean Man?
What do you mean speed
or
up?
SiIvagunner? Or
How
SiIvagunner?
long does this go? How long does this go? Fuck. Shit. I don't know if I can. My left mouse button stopped working, remember? You can hear me clicking it. Oh, shit. Wait, because this was the backup mouse. Let me see if the original mouse is working again. Because originally, the original mouse stopped working, so I started using the backup. Oh, good, the original mouse works again. Very nice. I have a wired mouse, and then there's also the backup mouse. And the backup mouse is not working, so let's see. Oh, wait, I mean, I guess I should speed it up more than that. No, I don't want to pull up the chat. No, that messes up the resolution. No, stop that.
Or the guy that looks like Larry in 64? Or Count Cannoli? Or Judge Jerome? Or Haruka? Or Dr. Nuts? Or the Joke
Wait, you said Judge Jerome before.
Or Santa? Or Meta Knight? Or Sonar Boy? Or Crazy Frog? Or Bane? Or the Grinch? Or Fireflies? Or King for Another Day? Or King for a Day? Or Sens? Or Donkey Kong? Or TV show variant Donkey Kong? Or D's Nuts Guy? Or Dad Boy? Or Ray William Johnson? Or Angry Joe? Or Skimble? Or Hamoud Habibi? Or Amuno? Or Pickle Red? Or Pickle Woodman? Or Jurassic Goth? Or John Apocalypse? Or Lenny? Or Carl? Or Mr. Burns?
That's a lot of characters there.
Or Lou? Or Mr. Snurrow? Or wait! I know! Mario! Mario knows Woodman. Mario and Woodman are like best friends. Remember how they teamed up in the CCC? I do. Jerome said, what the heck? So we contact Mario on Skype, but he was offline too. God damn it, I'm so mad right now. My fists were shaking. Jerome said, it's okay. I might just know who could get us in contact with Mario. I said, is it Nelson or Martin
God.
Prince or maybe even Millhouse?
Alright,
Jerome said, no, even better. It's Monica. So we contacted Monica on Skype. Hi Monica, I said on the phone. Where's Mario? Monica was very sad and told me that Mario had sadly passed away.
Okay.
This was shocking.
Back again.
Mario was dead?
What is the background here? I don't know what this background's supposed to be.
She said,
is it Skype? Are they, like, in the Skype dimension? Is that a thing?
yes, and emailed me his autopsy report.
Woodman is currently gone in the void.
Then she hung up. I was so shocked that Mario was dead. But I didn't know how to read an autopsy report, and I asked Jerome if he knew. He said, no. Don't you need, like, a lawyer for that? And that's when it hit me. I was shocked to my core.
What,
I knew
Phoenix?
the next secret. I knew we had to talk to him. Jerome said, you can't mean. And I said,
or what, John Knott Woodman? Isn't he a lawyer? I don't know.
I do mean Phoenix.
Okay, no, it was my first guess.
Right. Holy guacamole. We went home and we opened the portal into the SiIvagunner world that we had been gifted by Woodman in the past, and we went to jail. That's where Phoenix still was. Phoenix was in solitary confinement, so we had to get to the bottom of the basement prison where they keep the most evil of prisoners. Hi, Phoenix, I said. I need you to read this autopsy report. Phoenix looked at me with anger in his eyes.
I will never help you.
His eyes were red and bloody, almost as bloody as Felix's eyes were all those years ago, or maybe even Granddad's eyes. I shivered looking at him because he was so scary. I almost ran away screaming, but I stood my ground. I would not let this—
The specific way this panel is drawn, it reminds me of, like, that old Speed Racer cartoon.
worthless criminal scare me away.
After what you did to me!
I stopped him there. What are you talking about? We weren't even at that court trial. Phoenix said,
Yeah, well, he was there.
And he pointed at Jerome. And Jerome said, what? I've never even met you. And Phoenix said,
that's Judge Jerome. You got him confused.
Were you the judge at that trial?
Jerome said, I don't even have a law degree. How could I be a judge? If I was a judge, I could read this autopsy. And I'd have a coat and a gavel. Do I look like I have a coat and a gavel to you? And Phoenix said,
Well, I guess not. Sorry. It's just been so hard for me here in solitary confinement. It feels like just yesterday I was frolicking in the fields with my best bro and actual
poor
brother,
Phoenix.
Mario. I miss him so much. I would do anything to spend just
Looks like he has a
one more
hunchback.
moment with him and tell him I love him and goodbye. At least I'll still have a chance once I get out.
I started crying because this was so sad. I knew who Mario was, and Mario was dead. I said, dude, I have a best bro and actual brother too, and he's here with me, and he's holding an autopsy report. And I hate to tell you, but I know Mario, and he's dead. Phoenix looked so shocked.
What?
How far are we
How do
into
you
this?
know? My best bro
We still
and
got
actual
10
brother
minutes.
Mario. He can't be dead!
And I said, but dude, that's what we're here for. He's dead, and we have his autopsy report right here. And I pointed at Jerome, who was holding it. He begged and pleaded with us to let him read it. I thought to myself, is it truly right to give such a low-life scum of the earth crook like
Interesting
Phoenix
theme song they chose about, lawyers, a little parallel there.
the chance at closure for his brother? I figured I had to. Solving the SiIvagunner
The
direct
7.
alternate reality game
I
was
want a 7 grand flag. That sounds very cool.
more important than that. I handed the autopsy report to Phoenix, and he read it with tears in his eyes.
This isn't
Oh my god. Oh god.
an autopsy report.
He said, and I said, what? But Monica said it was.
No, man, this is like... This is a YouTube link.
I gasped and I looked at Jerome. We solved the autopsy report. We won the autopsy report. We went home and we watched the video on Jerome's phone
Bye, Phoenix.
because the internet was still down and I was out of data for the month. A strange video of Granddad appeared on the screen.
Who in the big 2025 doesn't have unlimited data? Like, that's the standard offered with every carrier now.
But he was purple, the scariest color, and he screamed at me. I screamed too. Jerome didn't scream though. Wow, I can't believe Luigi would scream like that, he said. Luigi?
Did they find some lost media?
That was Granddad. No, that was Luigi. What do you mean it was Luigi? I said. That is clearly Granddad. Dude, no, Granddad looks like Mario and that's Luigi. I said, come on, Luigi isn't even purple. And Jerome said, listen man, it's not about the color of the plumber, it's how he looks. And I said, bro, that's a pretty beautiful way of thinking, not even gonna lie. And Jerome said, listen, let me pull up a picture of Mario and I will show you that this is not Granddad, and it is, in fact, Luigi. I wasn't sure how a picture of Mario would prove that, but I was game. And so we furiously began Google image searching Mario.
Yo, bro got the Flappy Bird on his phone still. Like, that phone's worth a fortune.
All that would come up on Jerome's phone was the stupid red picture with stars on it and an ugly font that said Red Rewards. I wasn't even scared because this red is not that scary of a color, and I love rewards. maybe if they'd mixed it in with blue? But no, they hadn't. It was red. And it was crazy because no other images would load on Google.
Not
I thought Jerome had
red
run out of
Luigi.
data too, and that a stupid image was our punishment. But then Jerome gasped. What if this is part of the SiIvagunner Direct alternate reality game? He said, and I screamed in excitement. It had to be. Haltman was setting up everything to happen so
prizes. Remind me about what purple prizes is again. My brain is dead.
Perfectly. So we examined the image and it was red.
Like, my brain cell count has been going into the negatives while watching this, so my cognitive abilities have significantly decreased.
And it had stars and an ugly font. We thought long and hard about how we came to the perfect conclusion. Red like the red mist.
A hoax about Waluigi and 64 DS. Oh, because it had Wario but not Waluigi? Is that why?
The red mist being Halloween spirit. It was all connected. That's why the scary purple image said Elucidity. Jerome and I dapped each other up for coming
The
up
rotoscoping! All the, like, dumb shit, and now they pull out rotoscoping? Okay.
with such a perfect conclusion and sat down on our YouTube TV to celebrate. We opened it up, and on our recommended page was something quite shocking indeed. SiIvagunner Christmas Comeback Crisis episode 11? Holy moly, when did this come out? I asked Jerome. It must have come on our recommended due to all of the SiIvagunner we've been watching recently. Jerome looked at the TV and saw the video had come out 10 years ago. Wow, that's insane. I can't believe we missed a brand new episode of the CCC. But honestly, after what happened last time an episode of the CCC came out, I was kinda glad we missed the premiere. But then it hit me. Episode 11 must be our reward for winning the SiIvagunner Direct alternate reality game.
But yeah, I mean, this is a pretty famous rip playing in the background. I think this is one of the more well-known Siva rips.
I knew it would be something awesome.
Let it be.
So we watched it post-haste. We returned to Jerome's
Is that
phone
Alfred
and saw
Hitchcock
the stupid
again?
Red Rewards picture again. And then it hit me. We didn't do anything with the clue we'd solved. The secret was still unraveling. I noticed the image there were stars I hadn't noticed before. This
The rotoscope GIF was spammed in the Siva Discord. Yeah, it does seem like a very exploitable GIF.
must have been the key to the secrets. We hadn't won just yet, but we didn't know what to do
Is this a rip a play on the Home Depot song?
next. And after working on this for around a month, I'd honestly forgotten most of it, so we figured it was best to retrace our steps. We did the whole alternate reality game again, and when we got back to the Red Rewards image,
So they killed Weezer a second time.
we had all the pieces to solve it. We had actually paid attention this time, and we knew just what to do. But the secret link the Red Rewards image had clued us into was a video of Inspector Gadget, and Jerome just did not want to watch any of that, and I honestly didn't either because I was pretty worn out after doing all of that again, so we just started typing in every letter combination and .com into Google. And it worked! The winning
Yeah, let's spin the slot machine on Google.com.
was a website called YouTube.com, but was on the secret webpage confused me, and my lifelong brother, actual brother, real brother, brother of my whole life, from my mother and my brother and my father and my brother.
Repeat murders.
It was Mario's autopsy report, but for real this time. It wasn't a YouTube link.
I thought they said Wario. Like, to me, that sounded like Wario, not Mario.
Crud, we don't know how to read autopsy reports, I said to Jerome. And Jerome was sad too, but then he got an odd look on his face. And he looked at me and he said, "Wait, Mario isn't dead. Why would he have an autopsy report?" And I said, "Huh, wow, that's actually a good point."
Mario's not
We called
dead.
Monica at McDonald's and she said that he was out of town and unavailable. So he's clearly alive and, well, probably saving princesses and stuff.
Wow, he's alive! It's a miracle!
You know, typical Mario activities. But what could this
Yeah, he had a one-up. He had a one-up.
autopsy mean?
Did you die? Sadly, yes. But I lived!
And then it hit me. Mario wasn't dead. Yet. To get to the next secret link, we had to time travel.
I thought they were gonna say, we have to kill Mario! So you kill Weezer twice, then you have to kill Mario once.
And Jerome said, "Brother, you're a genius." We didn't have a time machine, so we had to time travel the old-fashioned way. 1 second into the future per second.
Wow!
So we sat on the couch and waited for an invite to Mario's inevitable future funeral. We waited for so long. 3 years passed, and our internet people came and fixed our router.
Wow!
But we sat steadfast, waiting for the day Mario 2 would pass, and we would be invited to his funeral, where we would be gifted the final link to solve the SiIvagunner Direct alternate reality game. 5 years in, there was a knock at our door. I got up to answer it, thinking maybe
No more
Mario
beer.
had finally died, but instead, there was a silhouette I did not quite recognize.
Is that a very
It was
large
some
Bugs
rabbit
Bunny?
guy? Jerome gasped. "Is this the rabbit from Othello?" he said excitedly. But I said no. This just seems like some crappy college student.
That's a reference to something.
Wearing a Burger King crown and who is also a rabbit for some reason. And Jerome's
a Burger King crown. That's not related to any other types of videos at all.
Sinks down into his spot on the couch and is all disappointed and stuff and says, "Oh, that's okay. What does this guy want?" And so I turn and I look at the rabbit guy, and honestly, he looks kind of peeved. And I say, "Hey, rabbit guy, is everything cool?" And he says,
"First of all, I have a name. Nax Guy Fieri. You ought to..."
Guy from the K-Fad Direct? Huh. I mean, I don't recognize him looking like this. Okay.
I'm sure you've heard my music.
Me and Jerome looked at each other and shrugged our shoulders. We had no clue who this was. This made the rabbit look even peeveder.
Peeveder?
Really?
Is that a word, peeveder?
He said.
Okay, well, anyway, that's not the point. The point is, I'm the Rabbit King, Lord and Master of Easter Spirit. And basically, you're taking way too long to solve this alternate reality game, so I'm here to get you to
And then I screamed, "Jerome, he's here to get us!" And Jerome screamed too, and he ran to grab the shotgun out of the secret shotgun hiding location, and then he ran back into the room and shot and killed the rabbit guy. Blood was everywhere.
And of course, it's the Doom shotgun sound effect. Oh, I forgot. So this mouse I'm currently using is not the one that just died. However, it doesn't scroll properly, and it's janky, so both my mice are suffering.
Where? Thank God he's dead, I said. I was so flippin'.
Oh, and the big chungus in the background.
Scared, and Jerome said, "Yeah, me too." Well, back to time traveling, I said, and we waited on our couch. But then, 3 days later, we heard someone at our door. Maybe it was time for Mario's funeral. When I opened the door, I turned white as if I'd seen a ghost. Jerome said, "Brother, what's wrong? You're white as if you'd seen a ghost." And truly, it was as if I'd seen a ghost, for the figure at the door was that rabbit guy.
Listen, man, I just want to help you to solve that.
And then Jerome blew his brains out with the shotgun. Thank God he's gone again,
All right.
I said. And we went back.
Alright, let's think of the death counter. So they've killed Weezer twice, and now this guy's been killed twice. Also, this is one of my favorite images of all time. The only thing that would have made it funnier is if they had, like, obscenely, unnecessarily large amounts of blood. Like, I don't know if you've seen that picture where it's like the MS Paint picture of the guy who, like, swallows a bunch of coins and goes into an MRI machine, and, like, the entire screen gets covered in, like, pixel red, where he just explodes in MS Paint, and there's just way too much blood. Anyway, I probably sound like a psychopath.
Back to time traveling. But then he came back 3 days later, and we killed him again, and...
Is he Christ? Is this guy just Christ?
Again and again. This kept happening for months.
I'll get my wish.
Every 3 days, he'd show up at our door.
Oh, I see! I see!
It honestly became a routine. We knew he was coming after a while.
The traps! Home Alone with prep time.
And we kept setting traps and finding new convoluted ways to kill this rabbit so he wouldn't get us.
The compilation. Well, wait, why would you send a rabbit back to the moon? Isn't that like a thing? Rabbits on the moon? Oh my god. Peppa Pig. Oh, not Peppa Pig. Wait, what was that gif? What was that gif? When I have to kill Nax Guy Fieri for the 40th time because I'm bored. Me when I have to leave my dog in a hot car because I'm bored. Another Alfred Hitchcock reference. This is so stupid. How long does this go? Another wait, even more wait. Oh no. I gently opened the door. The brazen bull! Bro brought out the brazen bull. Oh my god.
After 5 years, though, Jerome said, "Wait, do you think maybe he just wants to talk to us?" And I was shocked. I hadn't even considered that. Maybe he was here to invite us to Mario's funeral, even. And so when the third day came again, we heard him out.
"Please don't shoot me,"
the rabbit guy said. And I said, "Why would we shoot you? You wanted to talk to us, didn't you?" And the rabbit guy, shaking, said,
yeah. I wanted to help you finish the alternate reality game."
And me and Jerome looked at each other with excitement on our faces. This was the next secret clue to solving the SiIvagunner Direct alternate reality game. And so we let the rabbit guy talk. but we didn't really pay attention. He said something about SiIvagunner and something about Pastebin and Lynx and Base 64, and really, honestly, it was so boring that me and Jerome honestly hated this guy.
Yeah, there is, like, I do see a lot more, like, general fatigue with the standard structure of ARGs. I wonder if there's any new sort of, like, ARGs going around that have more novel things that haven't really been tried yet.
We were so mad.
But did you brighten the image?
The fact that we decided, no, you know what? This guy needs to die. And it would be legal to kill him too, because rabbits aren't people.
Okay, did you understand all of that?
The rabbit guy asked, but me and Jerome had enough already. We linked hands and pointed our other hands to the sky. Full spirit, activate.
Okay.
What the fuck? What spirit? I handle Easter spirit, guys. Were you even paying attention?
The rabbit guy said, and so we began to
This rip is fire, though.
power up like in Dragon Ball, with the jagged white lines around us, all like Goku does. Goku's so cool. And using our insane power of full spirit, we summon our stands, like in Goku anime. Our stands were Beater and Barone, and together the four of us shot rainbow beams from Super Metroid, from the Super Nintendo Entertainment System out of the palm of our hands, and destroyed the rabbit guy forever. No Easter spirit could bring him back from what we did to him. He may have had the power.
Oh, and now we got the Donkey Kong 64. Well, I mean, no, Donkey Kong Country. Sorry, Donkey Kong Country.
God, but we had the power of anime. So honestly, let's just say, we won the SiIvagunner Direct alternate reality game. Forever. The end.
Wow. Absolute cinema. Absolute cinema. There's more after the credits. No, I don't believe you, because you know what? Killing the rabbit guy for the umpteenth time is truly the story and friend we made along the way. The friend is the act of us killing the rabbit. And the fake, you know, credits. Yeah, because none of those videos would be in my normal.
And then the video screen went to black, and a grid of squares with recommended videos popped up on the screen. I was so disappointed. That was the SiIvagunner Christmas.
Why would a Mr. Beast video be in my recommended?
Comeback Crisis Episode 11, Mystery of the Secret Gunner? That sucked. Jerome said, yeah, what a crock of shit. And I was a little shocked that he said it with curse words like that, but I agreed with him. That was the worst alternate reality game reward ever. That was maybe even the worst video ever. I was so angry that we went through all of this just to watch this video. I mean it for real this time. I never watched SiIvagunner ever again.
What does that have to do with Mr. Beast? Oh, wait, no. What was that? There was one thing at the very end there. Wait. There was one thing at the... Shit.
With curse words like that, but I agreed with him. That was the worst alternate reality game reward ever.
The YouTube TV.
That was
okay, well, I want to see the picture.
Ever. I was so angry that we went through all again.
Come on. Here, I'm just gonna go one frame at a time. Come on. No, I couldn't get it. Duh. I was going one frame at a time. Mr. Unbeastable. Okay, yeah, sure. Whatever, kiddo, whatever. Mr. Beast! Oh, God. So, that was that one. Yeah, cool. Let's see. We got a 1-minute video, 5-minute video, another 5-minute video. Looks like some of these in the future, like some of these further videos in the playlist I may have already seen. Well, at least they aren't too long. Alright, what's this one about? It'll move to... Well, like, come on, if you make it the very last frame, then come on. Abilities of Santa Claus have been long speculated. Stealth, incredible endurance, and the ability to fly higher than Mach speeds. No mere mortal should be able to zoom around the planet in 24 hours and deliver a billion presents. But we believe we cracked the code. Santa's abilities are being augmented. Haven't I read this one before? A fool's spirit. Okay. Patrol bots have been conducting reconnaissance in the North Pole and found a massive, heavily guarded facility. We thought it was where Santa Claus manufactured his toys, but we also found mining and rigging apparatus transporting some kind of pink liquid. The elves call it fool's spirit. We took a small sample back and ran tests on it. A brief description of the substance can be found below. Fool spirit, bright pink color. Viscosity varies from gaseous to water-like. Method of viscosity change unknown. Very volatile. Occasionally makes cloud noises. Warps and corrupts space around itself. Keep it locked away in a highly secure areas to avoid unintended effects. Purpose of Fool Spirit is unknown. We captured and interrogated a couple of elves about the substance, and they couldn't recall where it came from, or why they had it with them in the first place. Despite this, the substance seems to hold a power so immense it can warp space-time around itself. We attempted to use it in a controlled test environment, but the results were unpredictable. Even when put in the same circumstances, the outcome was different each time. We ran several of the following tests using unaware participants in an attempt to generate more Fool Spirit. Telling the participant a bad joke, having the participant sit on a whoopee cushion, using a squirt flower, a shocking gum. None of these generated any additional Fool Spirit. We ultimately determined that producing any more than what the elf source was impossible. We speculate that Fool Spirit could be used to open rifts in other universes. However, due to unpredictable nature of the substance as well as its limited quantity, we instead opted to store it away in a highly secure location. Currently, the substance is too dangerous for use in any of our plans. File end. What's this footage from in the... Or, what's the sound in the background? The ticking. This is Earthbound? Isn't this like Earthbound sound effects? Music? Well, maybe whatever this is infecting the SiIva computer. Of course, the scroll is broken on this mouse. I'm gonna have to use the other mouse that doesn't have a broken scroll, and since this one can't left-click, I'll have to use the other mouse for left-clicking. I have to use two mice for two different things. So this is... Wow. Let's see... So, rips of things in different universes. So we have 3 types of spirit. Oh yeah, this one doesn't click. This mouse clicks. Also check Discord. What's this? I can't wait till I finally catch up. Then I won't have to go through this labyrinth anymore. Haven't I already seen this one? What was this, an April Fool's video? Yes, it was an April Fool's video. The last thing you'd want in your Burger King burger is someone else's foot fungus, but as it turns out, that might be what you get. A 4chaner uploaded a photo anonymously to the site showcasing his feet in a plastic bin of lettuce with the statement, "This is the lettuce you eat at Burger King." Admittedly, he had shoes on, but that's even worse. The post went live at 11:38 p.m. on July 16th, and a mere 20 minutes later, the Burger King in question was alerted to the rogue employee. At least, I hope he's rogue. How did it happen? Well, the BK employee hadn't removed the EXIF data from the uploaded photo, which suggested the culprit was somewhere in Mayfield Heights, Ohio. This was at 11:47. It was chosen for being file 15. Okay, is it just the Burger King foot lettuce thing? Eating our fast food in peace. Yeah. Okay. Funny April Fools. Yeah. That last thing you'd want in your takeover is some reference to a half-decade-old meme, but it turns out might be what you get. Reading Burger King foot lettuce caused me to dehydrate and literally die. Yeah, very cool. Thank you, Kanye. Very cool. Alright, well. We got some more here. It's just some unrelated April Fool's video. Okay. Well, at least that video isn't the greatest April Fool's joke to ever exist, because there's clearly a greatest April Fool's joke of all time, but that's not it. Alright, this file is under restricted access. Holiday Spirit. When was this rip released? Okay, December, so it wasn't an April Fool's rip. This is an internal archive. Sensitive information. Unknown access will have immediate dead. All use will be monitored. Proceed at your own discretion. This was part of the ARG. Okay. The existence of Christmas spirit is being studied closely at Haltman Works Co., and we've been working on synthesizing and utilizing it as it's become our primary source of energy since we learned of a physical substance. However, it has been theorized that other holidays may potentially have their own forms of spirit. After all, if the concept of Christmas spirit can materialize in reality, why couldn't other holidays be the same? Nonetheless, the versatility and accessibility of Christmas spirit led us to the decision to not pursue this further. However, we at Holtman Works recently received a report from a guard employed by the voice inside your head who noticed an anomalous duplicate of File 07. That was the one we just saw. Its contents are similar, but it's instead focused on a substance known as Fool Spirit, which is described as having a power so immense it can warp space-time around itself. The guard in question has since reported directly to the voice for the crime of unauthorized dilly-dallying. Contents of the duplicate file, which have been renamed File 07 Beta Mix, seem to indicate the existence of alternate forms of holiday spirit and reignited interest in research. Using experimental technology, we were able to extract a small amount of holiday spirit from specific figments and study their properties. The existence of yet more forms of holiday spirit is unconfirmed, but not out of the question. People watch this after the mystery of the Secrets Gunner side story. Okay. Full spirit extracted from the figment marks. See File 07 Beta Mix for original notes. Similar to the events described in the Discovery reports, our methods of containment were ineffective and its effects range wildly from powerful reality warping to absolutely nothing. Attempts at harnessing its power in any way have proved fruitless, and we suspect it may not even be possible. A shame considering how powerful it has the potential to be. There have been scattered reports of a duo of unidentified beings able to freely utilize the its properties, though we at Haltman Works Co. find them hard to believe. Wonder what two of those could be referring to. I wonder if one of them has their name printed on their shirt and their car. Missed the word whatever. /J. Like, please, people who use the /J and /S or whatever unironically, I think that's silly that people use that. Halloween spirit extracted from Freddy Fazbear. Not a liquid-like substance like other spirits. Existence of liquid form unknown. In the form of a red mist of some sort, makes a static noise if standing in proximity to it. Extraction attempt went wrong due to unexpected form, gas leak extremely dangerous. We decided to cease testing shortly after extraction due to staff members who came in contact with the substance reporting a variety of undesired effects. Such effects included vivid hallucinations, induced hyperaggression, and generalized lingering feeling of dread. It was deemed too dangerous for any internal use within Haltman Works Co. Valentine's Spirit from Mr. Lonely. Lavender-colored watery substance exudes a pleasant flowery aroma, emits the faint sound of saxophone, safe to touch, tastes salty, apparently similar power to the Christmas spirit. Kind of reminds me of, like, oh god, if any of you have seen, like, the whole video about Mystery Flesh Pit National Park, reminds me of, like, the liquid produced in the chambers that was harnessed to make, like, the Coca-Cola product that had, like love potion effects or whatever. Anyway. Okay. While initial research on Valentine's Spirit proved promising, with it sharing many of the same attributes as Christmas spirits, perhaps due to the holiday shared theme of love and compassion, we had a snag after a experiment involving the figment Spark the Electric Jester covered unwanted side effects with prolonged contact. It appears that Valentine's Spirit acts as an aphrodisiac, just like the Mystery Flesh Pit thing I was talking about. This revelation caused our HR department to prohibit further testing. Oh no. Let's just say that I don't think they recorded the results of that test directly. Thanksgiving Spirit extracted from turkey. Brown substance similar to gravy. Smells like it too. Completely effectless. Not sure. Seems to suck. This is just fucking gravy. Did someone replace the sample? Whose idea was it to put money into this? Why is no one taking this seriously? Various tests conducted on humans under Haltman Works NDA with differing results. For example, tests on Bob Dylan were effective while Paul McCartney yielded no results. Something to do with nationality, it seems. What, Americans versus Brits? Is that it? Those affected exhibited agitation and anger, and in strict cases evolved into shouting matches which involved topics of a political nature, as well as American... Okay, it's just the Thanksgiving gathering, got it. Overall, its effects are too minor and situational to warrant further testing. I see, I got another DM. Mother spirit extracted from Toriel. Okay. Orange substance of varying viscosity, smells like a home-cooked meal. Exact descriptions vary by researcher. Virtually no destructive power, very stable. General morale booster, seems to eliminate feelings of homesickness. Kind of want to call my mom right now. All tests conducted on Mother Spirit were successful, however, its properties did not make it viable for use in our projects. The existence of Mother Spirit naturally implies a counterpart, Father Spirit. We believe it considered a potential tool to tackle President Haltman's goal of reuniting with his daughter. However, when plans to start researching Father Spirit were brought up to Haltman, the decision was angrily vetoed, and the employee who suggested the operation was promptly fired. Must be a touchy subject. That's too bad. Could have solved it. Ultimately, this line of research provided little to no tangible results, despite our artificial Christmas spirit being more volatile, less efficient, and lower quality than pure of heart Christmas spirit. It is still by far the best and most readily available energy source at our disposal. It is worthwhile to note that Christmas spirit, in correlation with its power, is the most temporally relevant. In other words, alternate spirits are tied to their respective holiday seasons and may be weakened by their proximity to the Christmas season. Combined with the limited means of extraction available to us, we cannot know the full extent of these alternate spirits' effects. Could all of them be as powerful as Christmas spirit, given the right circumstances? That's an interesting concept, but as long as time is stuck at Christmas, then that won't make any matter. Oh, we have more of the Forbidden One stuff. Okay. I'm guessing more ARG stuff, whatever. I don't know. An idea can be given power through memory. Our spirit thrives through strength. In this moment, I ask you to donate yours. Thank you for your continued service. Interesting. Let's see what the comments have to say. Oh yeah, I have to scroll with the other mouse. Thanksgiving spirit is just gravy, Lamau. I did see that. So what's this? This is from a different channel. Like, not only was it private, was it straight deleted, or this is half an hour long. This is half an hour long. I don't think I want to do another half-hour long video. My voice is already starting to hurt. I don't know about that one. Yeah, I don't know if I got another half-hour video left in me. I may save this one for, like, the next stream, but here, as a compensation, there's another 5-minute long one. I'll end it on that one, but I'm not doing another half-hour long video. I'll do one more 5-minute video that's the next one after the one we just did, but I'll save the other one for next time. Seems like this one was uploaded at a similar time. Okay, same disclosure at the beginning. But yeah, I'm gonna save this for next time, alright? Let's see what this is. We'll end after this one, because my voice is starting to hurt. File int paint, the central canon continuum. We are still currently in the midst of searching for the stolen garlic taco, see file 16. But while that was in our possession, we were able to prove the existence of several worlds which seem to function on different rules. These worlds beside ours... Oh, is this an intro to that other playlist? Oh god. When contrasted against our world's more rigid laws and structure seem to imply a greater significance to it. This being the case, going forward, I have elected to refer to it as the Central Canon Continuum. More CCC. Despite my assertion that it is the most metaphysically stable and rigid, I am not ignorant of the fact that the CCC contains its own strange properties. Holiday Spirit, the Chorus, Kazoos, all of these are more bizarre to be certain, but nonetheless quantifiable and measurable. However, the same can't be said for other types of oddity. Anomalies, as briefly touched on in File 04, are the aberrations in or around the CCC that go directly against the known laws of reality. Also, this is loud. Let me turn this down. Yeah, no, I get what letters it starts with. Yep. Yes, I understand the joke. Thank you, Joke Explainer. Let's see. Non laws of reality. The garlic taco is perhaps our most sterling example of an anomaly affecting our world. One originally assumed to be a crude construct of the fictional game Waluigi's Taco Stand. The taco and its surrounding concepts have since made their way into the CCC's reality and history. Or perhaps the canon of Waluigi's Taco Stand has been subsumed by the CCC. In either case, the properties and abilities of the taco did not appear to have been impacted by the shift to a more stable reality, and have allowed us to study the exact makeup and constitution of it and other anomalies in close detail. Listed below are the traits believed to be common amongst them. It is important to note that not all criteria must be met to classify as an anomaly. Unidentifiable energy signature, transdimensional abilities, general teleportation, timeline reality warping, loose molecular construction. That's it? There appears to be a correlation between the amount/severity of anomalies in the world besides R and their relative metaphysical distance from the CCC. The science involved in judging these distances is hardly exact, but without the power of the garlic taco, we will have to settle for what meager technologies we have at our disposal. One of our most reliable energy sources, sources of information on such matters at the moment is the SiIvagunner channel itself. Through various anomalous rips reported on the channel, specific worlds of note can be documented, placed in relation to the CCC, and used to supplement our existing knowledge of anomalies within. Anomalies can range from relatively harmless to multiverse ending. So basically some SCP type shit. Okay. Holtman Works is just SCP, you know, whatever. We have categorized these anomalies into tiers based on if they exemplify one or more traits listed above and the severity of these traits. Both are real-life examples of anomalies. What tiers they fit into and why. Below are real-life examples. What tiers they fit into and why. Mr. Rent and Waluigi, Tier 0. Known appearances the CCC. Opening scene, Waluigi's Taco Stand. Yeah, I remember that video. Loose molecular construction. 2 Figment citizens of Grandiose who only came into the real world upon creation of the fake video game Waluigi's Taco Stand. They claim to have a rich history together despite one of the two having previously lived in the town of Topkek, while the other originates from the Mushroom Kingdom. Topkek, isn't that like a brand of, like, pastry in, like, one of the Nordic countries or something? I know it's a meme as well, but, yeah. Let's see. It's possible that this conflicting information is due to their close proximity to a Tier 4 anomaly, most likely the garlic taco. Other than that, they appear to simply be regular figments with no special abilities. There have actually been references to various SCPs on the SiIvagunner channel. Have they done that one thing where it was like the 4 goddamn pixels or whatever, like snuck into a video or something? Because I've seen that on Instagram and stuff, where people just sneak that video in as a reference. Haha, you're all gonna die now. Rental car, Tier 1 anomaly. Known appearances, CCC, Mr. Rental, the video game, Looney Tunes, Slot Machine, Betamax, Star Fox. Loose molecular construction, transdimensional abilities. A blue car that, while having a spacious interior, appears from the outside to be flat like paper. It has a rough, almost poorly drawn look to it, with large indents in the metal and sharp, blocky edges. Despite being an object, this car exhibits a lot of the same traits as a figment. It did not arrive through the Figment transport device, which leads us to our hypothesis about its transdimensional abilities. However, while in our world, its ability seems completely inert. Joke Explainer 7000, Tier 2. CCC AI Universe. Unidentifiable energy signature, transdimensional abilities, timeline, and reality warping abilities. See File 11. To summarize, the Joke Explainer 7000 has the ability to communicate with us across dimensions, a comprehensive knowledge of all realities, and can perform actions within and outside the confines of the CCC's time dilation intuitively. Missing No, Tier 3, AI Universe. Exhibits transdimensional abilities, general teleportation, timeline warping, loose molecular structure. With assistance from JE7000 through uploads on the channel, we have observed this figment's abilities will the world around it in a similar vein to Halloween Spirit, with more control, relevant to the figment's emotional outbursts, and its pseudo-prophetic foresight. While its appearance tends to glitch and distort, its energy signatures match that of the SiIva AI, so we can confirm its universe of origin. Was that character in that one picture that I couldn't quite decipher during the first video we watched, like the one related to the nuclear winter event? Like the one that had Papyrus in the background, or am I just thinking of something else? Because that was like a glitchy entity. Maybe that was missing now? I don't know. Garlic Taco, Tier 4 Anomaly. I have 225 XP. Yeah, I don't know why it's still showing up for you. Maybe because you joined the stream before anyone else did. Because, like, I don't think anyone else sees the leaderboard stuff. Although, then again, I think you're the only person left in chat. Let's see. Garlic Taco, Tier 4, CCC, Waluigi's Taco Stand, unidentifiable energy structure, transdimensional abilities, general teleportation, timeline reality, warping, loose molecular structure. Notable for its exhibition of what currently known anomalous traits, see File 4 and File 16. As previously I almost said hypnotized. As previously hypothesized, certain anomalies may prove to be more efficient than current tools at our disposal. However, in spite of their power, once these anomalies enter the CCC, they suddenly become inert. An exception to that would be the Garlic Taco, but even that we have been unable to utilize due to a confluence of circumstance. Perhaps there is a trait or trait shared amongst these anomalies we have yet to observe. There must be something I'm missing here. At the time of writing this, research remains inconclusive. If you're wondering, the reason I was here before the stream is because I got home early. Finals week. Oh yeah. I'm so glad I'm done with all my school stuff, that I don't have to worry about exams anymore, thank God. Now I have to just worry about corporate stuff. Oh well. Holtman's gonna fire me. Alright, another thing. What's the quote at the end? One searched across worlds to find the other, destined to be intertwined, but never to meet the mark until finally a miracle occurred. Are these just gonna form one big poem at the end? Like, the one poem that people have to stitch together? I'm guessing what that's gonna be. But anyway. Yeah. So. I think that's about it. I'm hungry, and my voice hurts, so I'm probably gonna wrap it up here for tonight. Gonna be honest with you. It's been a while since I last ate. That reminds me. What? The other video added was a Skyrim video? Related to 2B. Well, you know what? We're gonna have to save it for the next time, because I'm probably gonna wrap it up here. Also, why do they keep adding things? We're never gonna get this finished. Ah! Anyway, well, let's start wrapping up. We'll finish this all eventually. Like, if I keep at the pace I'm at, we'll keep making a dent in it, so... we'll just see what happens. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to stream this weekend. Like I said, I am busy with family stuff out of town this weekend. So, I don't know exactly when the next stream's going to be. It'll be, related to the... I don't know if it's going to be a weekend or a weekday. Again, just pay attention on the Discord server. Also Deltarune today. Yeah, I want to wrap this up because I want to see what content people were making about Deltarune with all the big news today. So anyways, hope you all have a good night. I'll see you on the next stream. Keep in touch in the Discord, and have a great evening, everyone.